Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Big Bold You, a show that was created to help each and every one of you out there to play bigger in your life. And in order to do that, you've got to think bigger first. You've got to overcome some of those self-limiting beliefs and fears that you have. You've got to be bolder, which means you've got to step out of your comfort zone so you can become the best version of you, so you can bless the world with your greatness. I believe that we live in a world where there is a war between good and evil, and the only way evil wins is when good people like you, like me, like all of our friends and our families, we just don't do enough because we're scared or we don't believe that we can. And each week we have incredible guests that come on and really share of themselves, their stories, their struggles, their obstacles, how they overcame them, and to bless us with some additional information of their trade and what industry they're in. So today we are in for a big treat. We've got Miss Trina D'Elena in the house.
Hi.
Trina, welcome.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here.
Well, we're so happy to have you here. And if anybody knows Trina, you've got this incredible energy and positivity about you. And, you know, I know that everything hasn't been just unicorns and rainbows in your life.
No, it has not.
You know,
Lots of hard work.
So, you know, before we get started talking about what you have evolved into, and we want to talk about the journey and the climb with you, but tell people, you know, just a little bit about who you are and where you grew up and just anything you want to share.
Okay. Well, I am a mother of a now 14-year-old daughter. I've been married for 25 years about, been with them, 28. And we live in McKinney. And for the majority of my career, I was an office manager for about 17 years. I had been in technology sales, and we had a shift in our family. And so my life changed after that at the age of 43.
And here's the thing is, were you planning for that shift?
Oh, no, it was not. I thought what I was doing was the path I was on. Good paycheck, but when you have children, as most of you know, your life evolves around your kids.
Right.
So, and that's where I was at. I was at a crossroads.
So, and I think so many people can relate to that because you might be at a crossroads right now. I've been at a crossroads before in my life. And when you have that, sometimes you've planned for that. Most of the time you have not planned for that.
No.
And here it is right here in your face.
Yeah.
What was that crossroad and how did you handle it?
Well, we were at a point with my daughter who has dyslexia. So she has a learning disorder and we needed tutoring. I worked a 50 to 60 hour work week. My husband traveled all the time. And we knew we needed to make a change, but I wanted to try to control that, plan for that. Everybody, my family and friends know I'm a planner.
Right.
And I thought I would ease into starting some sort of a business that I could work from home, and thought I'd do something online. And then once it built up, I could leave my other job, etc. Well, that's not exactly what happened.
Right.
So I had to take a different path after I made the initial investment in starting this business. So.
So for you, here you are, you've done something that you have been very comfortable doing.
Yes.
You're probably extremely doing it very well because I know that's who you are and how you are. And it had to be scary.
It was. It was this realization of stepping into a career where I was relying on myself only, not working for someone else, becoming, as I say, I'm the janitor and the CEO at the same time.
Right, exactly.
And building something from scratch.
Right. And,
it's a lot of hard work.
and so tell me what have been the benefits of being an entrepreneur?
The benefits, number one, is the flexibility. I mean, for me and my family and my daughter, she's very active. She's a dancer, was a gymnast. She's in drill team. That's, the mom role.
Oh, yeah.
Being able to be part of getting her off to school and being there when she comes home. And the benefits were I felt like a wife again,
right.
because we get wrapped up into our, especially those heavy work weeks.
Right.
Being able to have quality time. So that was the nice part, is the flexibility.
And you went right from, let's say, corporate America into the world of direct market sales.
Yeah, direct market sales.
And
reluctantly.
I know. See, here's the thing. For me, I stumbled into the network marketing industry, and I was one of those weird ones, I guess, that I just never thought anything badly about the industry because I had so many friends. Listen, I was the party girl. You know what I mean? If somebody would get involved in a direct market sales company or an MLM company, and they would say, "Jen, have a party for me," I'd have a big party.
Right.
I had friends of mine who they sold, Beach Bunny sportswear. I mean, Beach Bunny bikinis and activewear and, and all this. And I would be the one that would host all these parties because I just thought, like, here's the way I thought. If I have a friend or a family member that is selling something that I genuinely like, why would I not buy that from them?
No,
Why am I going to go, not anything bad about Macy's or Dillard's or Neiman's or any of that, because I still shop at all of those stores and more. But if I found something that somebody else was repping and I knew them personally, why would I not support them? So I got involved in a network marketing company as well. But I've just been an entrepreneur all my life, basically.
Well, I think I had been an entrepreneur. I actually had done direct sales before, and I think that's why I was reluctant, because I had told myself I was not going to go back to that.
Right.
When I did it before, it was before kids. My schedule was different. And then when my daughter did come along, that's when I walked away from direct sales because I felt like I was doing nights and weekends only.
Right.
And I didn't want that to interfere again with the family time. So being presented with an opportunity to make another change, I was like, no, I'm not going to do it that way. That didn't work before. Why would it work this time?
Right.
But it's about finding the product that you love.
Well, and here's the thing. I think it's finding the company, the product that you love.
Yes.
And it also, just like you just said, it's fitting whatever it is that you're doing into your lifestyle.
Exactly. And
so
I wanted that.
when you know what kind of life you want to live, which is extremely important. So if you don't know what kind of life you want to live, you got to stop right now and you need to concentrate on that and decide what does that life look like to you?
Yes.
Because once you know what that life looks like for you, then it's easier to make the decisions that align in congruency with what it is that you want and what you value.
Yes.
So, for me, I think that, it's scary to do things that you just don't know because you've never done it before.
Right.
It's scary because a lot of times you doubt yourself.
Yes.
And so one of the things I like to do with our guest is pull out, what was your thinking? To play bigger in life, you have to think different. You have to think bigger first. Yeah. So what were some of the things that you thought that really helped facilitate you to make this decision?
Well, one of the things that I thought a little differently this time is I've been through many years, lots of workshops at conferences over the years, and I found myself with my Cabi business, being a stylist, that through these workshops, I came to a point where I was really, really understanding that I deserve to have this kind of a career. I think as a mom, as a wife, very busy, that I fell into that fear of kind of being successful with something, that it would hold me back. And once I finally got to the point and came to this, I deserve this. It is okay to want that kind of a career and make that kind of money with something that I love. Then I was like, you know what? I'm okay with this now. I can really go after this.
Okay. And here's something that I think is how when you stop making excuses, you start to achieve results.
Yes.
And I think for women, we know that we're mothers, and we know that if you're married, you're a spouse, and you know that there's certain roles and expectations that you have.
Yes.
And I think sometimes we use the role of being a mother and the role of being a wife as a reason why we can't follow our dreams.
Guilty. I mean, exactly.
Oh, listen, I'm guilty I'm guilty as well, where I would say, "Oh gosh, I can't do that because I've got to do this for the family."
Yeah.
And the reality is what you said, is when you come to that realization that you deserve it.
I do.
You deserve to have a career that you love doing, and you deserve to make exactly the amount of money that you want to make.
Yeah.
Because it's when you feel that you deserve it is when you will materialize it.
I agree with that wholeheartedly.
And so how did you overcome that?
Well, I started working on my goals. I've always been a planner and working on those goals. And I actually work on my goals every 6 months with my seasons and the way everything falls in my business. I break down with my team lead my goals every 6 months. And it's not just about the goals. It's writing them down, putting together the action plan, putting together the marketing plan, and working the plan day in and day out until you get through that next 6 months and then reevaluate.
And I cannot tell you how important it is to have a plan that you have written down.
Yes.
Because so many people, you've got so many great ideas in your head, but you don't have anything written down. And so you're flying by the seat of your pants.
Yes.
And that's one of the probably the biggest eye-opening experiences that I had when I stepped into the managing director role of eWoman Network here in Dallas, which is how you and I met.
That's exactly how we met.
Was I'll sit here with all these incredible entrepreneurs, and they've got a great product, they've got a great service, they've got great ideas, but they are literally flying by the seat of their pants with no plan written down. And they don't have the vision statement. That's where it all starts, folks, okay? The very beginning, it always starts with your vision statement. You've got to stop. You've got to plan. You've got to write these things down. Plan, do, review your whole life, and just get used to that because it never changes. You just keep doing it over and over and over again. But one of the things I always say is you can't succeed alone.
No.
So along your journey, who have been some of your mentors and your leaders and your coaches and the people that you've looked at and said, hold on a second, I want to mirror my life like theirs, or I need your help? I mean, who have those people been?
There's been multiple. There's a lot to be said about girlfriends. Actually, when I started my business almost 7 years ago, I remember I was, in a new network group that I had met, and I realized how much I had forgotten how I missed being part of that community. I worked with men most of the time in technology, right? And I forgot how that felt. And so one of the things is I worked really closely with my team lead. She and I do a every other week. We call it our CTT calls. It's our action plan. It's my accountability. Even though I was not in corporate, I needed to make sure that I had some sort of accountability so that I was staying on path. Or when I was struggling with something, I could talk with her through it. And that has made a huge difference in my overall business. But the other aspect has been my girlfriends. I belong to, as Jen said, we met through the eWomen Network. I also belong to another group called the Girlfriends Network. And through that, I have some wonderful women that when I'm doing good or I'm doing bad, I'm able to talk through and really, get suggestions on how to approach different things in my business. And it's been a godsend.
I think people, one of the things I say all the time also when I say, success doesn't happen alone, and that's by design. And so I always will tell people, as a matter of fact, I was going back and forth with a lady last week, and she was saying, I've been trying to succeed all by myself. I've been trying to do business all by myself. And there's a difference between being involved in a network marketing company, a direct market sales company as an entrepreneur, versus owning your own business.
Yes, there is a difference.
There's a big, huge difference. Number one, it's a lot more expensive. I'm telling you, a lot more expensive to be in business for yourself.
Yeah.
I mean, ridiculously more expensive. And you do tend to be more by yourself and more alone.
Yeah.
And one thing I do think that network marketing, direct sales is so great about is you are in business for yourself, but not by
But
yourself.
not by yourself, yeah.
And you are automatically, like you said, you have team leaders, you have people that are already had the success you want in that same company, in that same industry, with that same comp plan, with the same products, and so they can share a lot. And something that you said is very important, which is you've got accountability.
Absolutely.
You have to have accountability.
You
So
have
whether you want to lose weight, you want to lose 15, 20 pounds, whether you want to make money in an entrepreneur endeavor that is your own business, whether you're in a direct market sales company, whether you want to improve your relationship with your spouse, you have to have external accountability. It's just the way it works. So your mentors, what are some of the biggest lessons that they've taught you, or aha moments that you've had that have changed your perspective?
That's a good one. I think one of the biggest aha moments is believing in myself. Coming into the industry that I came into, I am not what we call necessarily was a very fashion forward person. I was blue jeans, t-shirts, or with my technology role, I was in, brown, black, gray, not a lot of color. And it was overcoming the moment of realizing that, what, I have a lot to share at my size woman, with what I do. I can offer a lot, and I had to get to that point. And when I did, it was a good feeling.
So that's my question is why Cabi? Why a stylist? Why, what was it that it just something in just ignited in you and said, this is what I want to do?
Well, it was the interesting thing is I wasn't looking for this. I thought I was going to do something online. I thought accessories, jewelry, things like that. I never thought about clothes. And my husband came home one day, long story short, his former boss out of college, this is what his wife was doing. And he came home and said, I found your boutique. And I looked up what he was talking about. And I went, no, I'm not doing that. And he says, just go have lunch with Susan. So my team lead, I went and had lunch. Hadn't seen each other in a while. We had coffee, actually. And I had a lot of questions about the financials, about the company, et cetera, et cetera. And I thought, okay, I'm going to give this a try. Because the one box it checked was it had to do with women. And that was very important to me. I knew whatever I was going to do, I wanted to be able to serve women in some way, shape, or form. I didn't know it was going to be clothes, but what I found is there's been nothing more beautiful than being able to watch a woman come out, and I have helped them find a wardrobe and a style that speaks to themselves, and they feel comfortable and confident in the clothes that they wear. And I want them to experience the way I have felt in the clothes. And that was my why that I continued with.
So I can feel your energy right now. I can feel, I don't know if you could see, you got emotional when you were talking about.
It's important to me.
And this is what I think is really special and unique is each and every one of us, we're called to do certain things on this earth. And obviously you feel a calling to help empower women.
Absolutely.
And I tell people what you do, your give back. And it's the other side of what you do with women, because I want to know when those two things meshed for you in your brain, where you realized I really do have a special place in my heart for empowering and helping women not just survive but thrive.
One of the things that this business had allowed me to do is through the many women that I've met over the years, I actually was searching for a nonprofit that I wanted to help women in another way. And I actually, through my network group, had a client who I started outfitting for her speaking engagements. And it was for a domestic violence survivor group, and it's called Stronger Than Espresso. And I started volunteering for a couple of years, and my job has allowed me to do that when before I was never able to volunteer.
Oh, yeah, no way.
It was always something that I knew I wanted to do. And through the last couple of years, and actually through this last fall, I now work part-time for them and work with domestic violence survivors programs. And that's just another way I'm able to serve and give back.
Now,
So,
have you always had this special place in your heart for empowering women?
you know, I watch my daughter now, and I see a lot of my daughter in myself. And I think through both the blend of the entrepreneurial that's there. As my mom used to always say, I'm always trying to sell or do something. My daughter is the same way.
Right.
She actually has her own license for a business now, no surprise. But just being able to volunteer, and I think, I was always the one that wanted to, take clothes and different things to Goodwill, and always, do the angel trees, and always trying to do something. And I think it has just evolved as I've gotten older, that this is truly where my heart belongs.
I think it's interesting because each and every one of us has, if we look back at our childhood and just examine and review the things that were important to us as children, are typically the things that will continue to be important to us. But what happens is we start to grow up and life happens, and we forget about all those things that made our hearts sing and made us smile and really facilitated a deeper level of joy within us, and we walk away from it.
Yeah.
And then we get a job. And then
It changes you sometimes.
then you go back and you say, hold on a second. But like you said, I always loved gathering my belongings and giving it to Goodwill because I knew another girl was going to be able to use this.
Yes.
Because believe me, there are some people that sell all of their belongings.
I know. It's a big business.
Listen, I've got some friends of mine that you know who you are. You know who you are out there. I mean, who I'm a good friend, and if she wants me to buy something from her, because she's giving it away, but she never gives it away to me, there's a price tag attached to it. Because that is just how some people are.
Yeah.
And but what do you think makes you so different about how you serve your clients through Cabi?
I think the best thing that can describe me is I'm honest. I tell you if it looks good. I tell you when it does not. Because I want someone to do, I think it's that golden rule. I want,
Right.
if I don't look good in something or if it's not flattering to me, I want someone to tell me that. And when I'm serving my clients and helping them out, it is not about an outfit. It is not about selling them a shirt. That is not my focus. My focus is helping them find those pieces that work well and really speaks to their style. So I think honesty is my best thing that I can say is about me.
Well, I'm gonna have to say that I agree that one of Trina's best traits is honesty, and you really are about fit.
Yes.
Because this jacket that I'm wearing right now here is a Cabi jacket, and I adore it. I love it. One thing, I've got other friends, obviously, that sell Cabi, and I think the cool thing is you can help support multiple people in multiple companies, okay? You can. And I just think that's the right thing to do. That's how I live my life. I'm not telling you how to live your life. This is one of the things I say, and tell me if you can relate. I've got 5 kids and a high-maintenance husband. And if you're listening right now, yes, you are high maintenance, okay? And but obviously I love my family. I love them. I love all my crazy kids. I run so many different businesses, organizations. I mean, it's crazy. I have so many hats. It's insane. I make enough decisions every day. I don't want to make yours, okay? So I'm not telling anybody how to live their lives. But I do think there's a way that you can support multiple people in the same company.
Yep.
And when I got this jacket, basically, I did it kind of behind Trina's back. I said, Trina, this is the size I want. Order it for me. And you obviously ordered it for me because
Go ahead and set it. If
the,
it
because
doesn't
that,
fit, let me know.
But what was funny was I wore the bigger size jacket like this on the podcast not too long ago, and for a girl to or female to wear the same thing within a 2-month period of time, that's not normally normal. But on the show, you kind of even said when you saw pictures of me and you saw the show, and I started saying, well, I don't know. You're like, no, it's too big. It's too big. She's like, give
Let's
it
get that
back to me.
exchanged.
And you came into my house, you picked it up, you went and did everything, and you returned it back to my house. And to me, I'm all about customer service. I'm all about the experience,
Yeah.
and I'm super busy. And
are.
the fact that you did that, it's a different level of care because I think you genuinely do care.
I do. It's about the relationships.
It's totally.
It's not about the clothes. It's
Right.
about the relationship.
And how people feel in the
They
clothes.
do. I mean, it's about the fit. It's about making sure that you're comfortable in it.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes I might say yes before you do. We need to get a different size.
Right. So let's look at your home boutique, which I think is so awesome, and
yeah.
let's look at some of the
Present to myself.
the pictures and things that you have, and how you've created this in your life, and I love it.
Yeah.
So Ziggy's going to pull some stuff up.
I celebrated, and this was actually as my clients evolved, and I kind of shift from doing not as many Cabi events, but a lot more personal consultation. I actually it took me about a year to figure out what I wanted to do, but I had the shiplap all installed, my wonderful chandelier.
That is so
I had
pretty.
another woman, and these are all women other than the chandelier. I had another girlfriend through a network group that did my cushions and my pillows for me, and then I had another lady that did she was the handyman that actually did the woodwork in my boutique.
So
yeah.
you created a shop there right in your home.
I want women to be able to escape for a little bit.
Right.
And yes, when you come to the boutique, I have anything and everything you want to drink.
Right.
It's just a moment to be able to, just have some time to yourself.
And
Yeah.
one of the things that I think is really unique about you also is I think that, like you said, it's about the relationship, and you really, it isn't like, I don't feel like you're trying to sell me clothes and an outfit. I feel like you want to know, what is my lifestyle?
Yes.
What am I doing? What do I need these clothes for? Where am I going? And then it's just such a service. I mean, you really are very service oriented.
Well, one of the things I teach this to my daughter. She gets tired of me using this as an example, but it's that doctor-patient relationship. You cannot help someone until you know what they need help with. And sometimes you have to help them figure that out, okay? But I believe I'm always considered, I guess, a relationship seller. And I believe you have to figure out what their needs and their wants, the things they struggle with first, and then you're able to, be able to provide the right pieces for them. And that's my philosophy I have always followed.
Okay, so what are some tips? What are some tips that you share
Okay.
with regards to dressing and all the ways you can make things different? Because even like with the jacket, I mean, you were showing.
Yes. So one of the things I'm all about being able to fold either your sleeves or same thing with your pants. I think I teach that kind of J. Crew fold. One of the things you can do with your sleeves, especially with the Cabi pieces, which is really nice because you've got that wonderful different ponting materials, et cetera, that really work well. But you can actually do one long sleeve. One long roll. You never want to just roll because then it looks chunky and it's not as flattering on your arm. So you can actually, especially here in Texas, we like to do this because it's hot, is you can do one long one and then one shorter one, and then you can zhuzh it up if you want. But it's a lot more slender look than if you were to roll big rolls all the way up. That makes your arms and your ankles and things look chunkier. So that's one tip to share with you. The other tip that is my big one is think of your outfits in threes. Okay, you have your top, you have your bottom, and you always want to know what is your third piece before you walk out the door.
Even if you have a dress.
Yeah, even if it's a dress, it doesn't matter. I have a mirror right by my door before I exit. I did it before I left to come here. What do I look complete?
Right.
You want to complete your outfit. What's your third piece? Is it a jacket? It could just be a statement piece of jewelry. You notice all of these are complete with 3 pieces, okay? 3 or 4. There's, great pieces on the jackets. You want to complete those looks. You don't want to just do a top and a bottom. And even if it's that, you do a little tuck or a tie or something and add some jewelry.
Okay, so let me ask you this. So if you're going for the threes and you have a top, you've got jeans or you've got a skirt, and you don't have the third, a jacket, but you did say maybe a big necklace is a statement.
A necklace,
maybe
a
big
belt,
earrings, a belt,
a scarf is a belt.
Okay, so something that pops it, that there's
completes the look.
Okay, that completes the
look.
look.
Complete. One of the biggest mistakes a lot of us make is we're judging it off of not a finished look and not a complete look. And that's why a lot of women don't like the outfits, because they're not quite sure what else to add to it.
Well, I will say this, that I used to go out shopping a lot. There was a time in
I think we all did.
I think there was a time in my life where I was in corporate America. I left corporate America. I started having kids. I got divorced. I got back into corporate America. Then I got remarried. And when we blended 5 kids together, there's just no way. And the kids were there. I had 5 between the ages of 10 and 6.
You had your hands full.
And let me tell you, I'm taking all 5 of those babies with me to Miami this weekend.
I know.
And we're going to have a complete blast.
Oh, I wondered what it was.
Well, we have about 20 people going with us.
It's
So
gonna
we've
be
got
fun.
20 people going. It's going to be so much fun. But there was a time that I was not in corporate America. I wasn't, I was being a full-time mom and a
Yep.
full-time
I have a lot of
spouse,
those as clients.
But I would go out and shop, and I would buy so much stuff that I would come back and I'd put in my closet where I still would have the tags, and I would never wear them
would never
because
wear it.
because to your point, I'd put stuff together and I'm like, but that just doesn't look complete.
Yeah.
And I've got a really good friend of mine who is a stylist, and
she
she,
does a great job.
she does an awesome job, and she's not in any specific company, but she just, that was her degree. And when she started buying things for me, and then when I found out about Cabi,
Right.
and there's some other also great other companies that do similar things, that's when you started to really say, look, not only can I look great, but you save money. You
You actually
save
do.
money.
Yeah, I think that's one of my biggest finds. I was, the way I used to shop versus, with Cabi, what I found when I started comparing, I wasn't wearing those pieces anymore.
of
and I
course
was
not.
able, when you have a Cabi or not, when you have a versatile wardrobe that you can mix and match and you're smarter with your pieces, you actually end up spending less money. I believe
Oh,
less is more.
100%.
So, yeah, that's what I try to teach.
Okay, so now I've got some questions.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so because everybody knows that we want to know what do you believe has been some of your biggest fears that you've had in life, or self-limiting beliefs? Because I know everybody out there
Yeah.
has them.
Yes.
And people are afraid to talk about them because you want to pretend like you're just wonderful and great. You got all this crazy talk going on in your head. Okay, everybody does.
Yeah.
So what have been those self-limiting beliefs or fears that you've had to overcome?
I think with the shift in this, not only doing this career move at the age of 43, my biggest fear was self-image, and it was my weight. That was a big thing for me, because I was thinking, how can I work as a stylist at the size that I was? That was a very limiting belief, and I soon learned it had nothing to do with anything, and it was about focusing on how I felt in the clothes, what made me feel confident, what made me feel comfortable, and then learning those techniques that I could share with others. I soon overcame that just from the lessons I learned within becoming a stylist.
And I love that you shared that, and so authentically, because here's the thing is, if you don't feel good about yourself,
Yeah.
that part of whatever it is you're thinking, first of all, it's just not even true.
No, it's not.
We're all made in different shapes and sizes and different hair color and
Yes.
different eye color and different curves and different, straight lines, because that's how we're supposed to be made.
Yeah.
And when you look at the world and you look at TV and you look at the movies and you look at magazines, it screws you up, okay?
It
It
does.
makes you think that you've got to look a certain way.
And you don't.
And you don't. You have to love who you are.
Yes.
And women, I mean, that's a big deal for you to even share that, Trina, because
It is. And not everybody knows that I felt that way.
really.
Yeah, because now I love watching other women. I think that was the other part that helped me overcome it, is the more women I outfitted, the more I got comfortable with myself, because I range from 00 up to size 16 women and bigger that I outfit. And when I watched how confident they were feeling, I thought, okay, then they're feeling how this is making me feel.
Right.
It was about making sure I had pieces that complemented my figure.
Right.
And the more I learned, the more confident I became. And it was really empowering to watch how the faces, when they would walk out of the dressing room at my house, and just their face would change, their body language changed.
Well, and here's the thing is, you've got inner beauty and you've got external beauty.
Yes.
And there are so many people that are struggling with inner beauty issues.
Yes.
And I just want to tell you that you are beautiful. You're beautiful inside and you're beautiful out. It doesn't matter what you look like. That isn't what makes you a beautiful person. And it's easier to help somebody change their external beauty
is.
first.
It is.
But it impacts your confidence.
It
It
does.
impacts how you feel about yourself and how you carry yourself. And all those things are very important.
Yeah.
So here's another question for you.
Okay.
How do you feel about where you are right now?
I feel wonderful. I'm a very busy person, as my family tells me all the time. However, I look at where I'm at. I look at the age that I'm at. I'm happy with where I'm at, but I'm not completely satisfied.
Right. Well, where do you see yourself in the next 5 or 10 years?
Yeah, I've got a lot of goals I'm working on. I think the biggest thing for me is my team. I'm really working on building that team, working smarter, not harder.
I know. Listen, that's the truth.
Being strategic.
I mean,
and, it makes a difference so that I can sustain this, into retirement.
Right.
And those are my focuses and my goals. Oh, that feels really weird saying retirement, but
Okay, and I'm going to
I'm
tell
not
you.
a spring chicken anymore.
Well, listen, I'm going to tell you something about retirement. About 7 years ago, I started working with a growth and development coach. So,
Yes.
for those of you who don't know, my master's degree is in training and development, and I'm all about truly helping people transform their lives. I want people living the life that you dreamt of living, because you can. You can't do it by yourself, though, obviously. So, retirement is when you slow down and you start to decline, and in life you're either growing or you're declining. So the goal is always to grow, because
Exactly.
we are limitless. So you can be growing in your 80s and 90s. In fact, the other day somebody was telling me the guy that started Grey Goose, y'all know Grey Goose vodka?
Yes.
He was in his 70s.
Wow.
When he started Grey Goose, the Grey Goose Company, he was in
not
his
know that.
70s. So you don't want to plan your decline.
No, you
so
don't.
it's not you're going to retire. I'm just going to kind of change everybody's perspective a little bit on this. It's not that you're going to
No.
retire. It's you're going to do things differently.
Absolutely. I mean,
And I've already started that. I've already started those plans of doing things differently.
well, it is about doing things differently. I think one of the things that I realized when I made my transition, I remember I went back. You be careful what you wish for.
Right.
With my business, what happened is I started my business the month of May in 2013. And the company that I worked for then, great company, loved them. They had some changes. I thought, okay, I'm going to do this business. And then come January, end of year, we'll see where I'm at. And if we think I can transition out, then I'll just go full time with my business. Well, I was laid off in September. And I remember I went back in like 2 weeks after that, because it was a company, very close friends. It was a great relationship, but they wanted to kind of give me an official going away, luncheon thing. And the anxiety that I had when I walked back in that building, I had not realized. It
Right.
still gives me goosebumps
Right.
when I talk about it, because I didn't realize that that's how I felt.
Exactly.
And so, yes, moving forward, doing things differently,
Right.
and having a job that I love into however many years I can do it, that is where I'm going.
Because there are so many people out there that are doing a job that their
A
heart's
job.
not in it.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
it brings us to our Ask Jen's question, which I think is an incredible Ask Jen's question. It actually comes from Trina and her network and her group. And the Ask Jen's question today is, what advice do you give to those of us reinventing our career after age 40? First, give yourself a big pat on the back that you are believing yourself and that you're following your heart to what we were just discussing. Number two, you have to connect yourself with real leaders, people that have already done what it is you want to do, because everything that you want to do, somebody else has already done. So why reinvent the wheel? Number three, you've got to be coachable. Listen to what they say, do it, invest in yourself. You have to make sacrifices. If there's something that you really, really want, you will make a sacrifice for it. If you really aren't passionate about that, you'll find that you don't want to make those sacrifices. And the last thing I will say is just make a decision that you're going to be consistent and you're not going to quit. Because life truly is like a maze. There's one right way in, there's one right way out. And if you hit a wall, it's just redirecting you to the path that you're supposed to be on. But success happens in action. So you've got to keep moving forward. And you just can't stop.
No, you cannot stop.
And
Don't have a choice.
and one of the
Gotta live life, right?
One of the things that I think of, because you are a mother,
Yeah.
is your kids are watching you.
Yes.
Your kids are watching you. And
They
here,
are.
if you're not a parent, other people are watching you too. So you just don't realize the impact that
No,
you
you
are
don't.
making on other people's lives. So by you doing what you're doing, by you just sharing what you shared about your body image, let me tell you, I want you to know, if there's somebody out there, whether you're watching this show live or whether it's 6 months from now or 10 years from now, I want you to know that if you're feeling the same way, it's normal.
It is normal.
It's okay. It's called life. Okay, it's called life.
We all have our little assets that we have issues with.
That's right. Okay, so before we close, one of the things that I love to ask of my guests, and some agree to it and some don't, just like I have some friends that will give me things and some want to charge me. It is what it is, and I love it either way. But one of the things I like to do is ask, is there an offer for if anybody is watching this live or recorded, that they can take advantage if there's something they'd like to do with you?
Yes. Well, one of the offers that I'm presenting today as a stylist, I also offer my services as a closet wardrobe audit. And so what I'm offering is you get an extra hour free with my offer that's going on. So yes, we have a little photo there that talks about it. You need a minimum of at least 2 hours with me, and every closet audit is different. People are like, well, what does it include? Again, everybody's closet is different. So I can help you rip off the Band-Aid to get rid of things. I can help you sort through and organize. I love to show you how to mix and match the pieces in your closet and make other outfits out of that. And it's not just about the Cabi pieces, but I'm offering that third hour for free, and that's a $99 value.
Okay, and so how could they get in touch with you on it?
They can either reach me via email, and it's got the Trina D'Elena at gmail.com, or my phone number, which is the 469-667-7738, and we can set up a consultation. I'm offering that during the fall months.
Okay, wonderful. And I'm telling you, if you watch this and it's not the fall, reach out to her anyway. Because
exactly.
It is what it is. But I just thank you so much, Trina, for sharing of your heart, for
thank
coming. We love you. And I know there's so many people out there that this message has impacted. So please share this and subscribe to Jen's Johnson YouTube channel. Let me know if there's a topic, if there's a guest, if you'd like to come on the show, if you've got a story that you want to share, please let us know, because I know your story will help make this world a better place. So until we meet again next Monday at 2 p.m. Central, be big, be bold, and most importantly, be you. Bye-bye.